Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is State Rep Joe Dela Cruz. I'm actually in Hartford today for a special purpose. The tolls are up in committee, and I'm going to be testifying on it today. As a person that lives on the border and has seen folks cross the border for years and years to get cheaper gas, it's not just that 10-mile strip along the Rhode Island and Connecticut line, but also across the Massachusetts line. People are more mobile now. There's a lot of folks that work in Springfield, Mass. At the new casino. There's folks that live in the center of Connecticut and work all the way over in Quonset Point, Rhode Island, and those folks aren't paying for gas. The other thing we keep talking about, the opposite side is saying that 70% of the people who are looking to raise taxes are all Connecticut residents. But the way the structure is now, 70% of the people that use the roads pay for 100% of all roads in Connecticut. If we don't change that metric, I think we're just going down a path of not funding our roads to what they should be funded to. As evidenced when I was underneath the Gold Star Bridge when the governor came down. I want to thank Governor Ned Lamont for making this a priority, the Gold Star Bridge. But as you looked up in the air, you could see the physical damage to the bridge that's been done over the bridge is 76 years old. They're estimating that it could be a $400 million project. That's just one project in the state of Connecticut. The other thing that the other side doesn't want to talk about is the 70% can only shrink. It can't grow. And what I mean by that is if we raise the gas tax even by a penny, that's going to widen that 10-mile strip I talked about of folks that already cross the border to get their gas. It'll incentivize that border to go from 10 miles to 11 to 12. And the worst part about that I've seen personally, because I've done it myself, where we can shop at Stop and Shop at Exit 3 in Rhode Island. It's a 15-minute drive for my wife and I, but there's a pizza restaurant we like there. We plan to go, and I have a truck that has a 30-gallon tank. I could fill up there. The worst part about that whole situation is now I've bought in all my products in out of state and haven't paid any sales tax to the state of Connecticut. So it's one of those things that just rolls from one issue to another. The other thing, I did the math. All the folks are talking about the trucks and why would we tax them? Because right now they're paying their fair share. Last year they contributed $14 million to the state of Connecticut. Rhode Island, just above us, installed truck tolls. They're tallying 200,000 trucks a month, which equates to 2.4 million trucks over the course of 1 year. If you do the math and divide it out the way I did and say if we had $14 million divided by 2.4 million trucks, folks, that's $5.38 per truck. If you think that's the fair share, and that's not all the trucks, because we know in Connecticut that we get far more trucks through our state than they do over in Rhode Island, because we have a couple other main arteries that we're talking about taxing. So the way the system works now is you fill up your gas. If you have a tractor trailer, you fill up in New Jersey, you drive through our state, and at the end of the year, you're supposed to write Governor Lamont a letter saying, hey, I've traveled on your roads this amount of miles, and this is how much I owe you. If you think that's happening, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I can sell you, because it's not happening, because $14 million is far too low. And if everybody was doing that, we'd see a lot larger numbers. Going back to the percentages, and what I mean, we keep eking away, whittling down the 70% down to another percent when we start figuring about the electric car. I actually have legislators in this building that I work with that are colleagues and I respect. But in private, they tell me the electric car is never going to happen. If you watch 60 Minutes this past week, you would know that China plans on building 5 million electric cars. It is real technology. It's not fake. Electric cars are coming. So anyone that purchases an electric car in Connecticut, if we don't change the way we raise money to do our roads, is effectively removing themselves from having to pay for the roads. So you could be a resident of Mars for all I care, because that car right now is not tallied in Connecticut, which leads me to another discussion I had with a former state rep who just says that, well, because I purchased the car and paid sales tax, I paid tax then, but then I also paid property tax. So there's my contribution. My argument is anyone that owns a gas vehicle in our state does the same two things, except we pile on the gas tax at the end. I'm someone that thinks that the gas tax needs to go away. We need to match our gas with other states so we don't have folks leaving our state to buy cheaper gas. There's a myriad of different issues of why we need tolls. The other side hasn't presented one logical way to fix our roads. And they just keep talking about cutting different programs. And I've been up here the last couple of years. And are there some places where we can work on and try to be more efficient? I would say so. but we've had cut in budgets for the last 8 years. We're running out of places to cut, and it's really affecting education, how we take care of the weakest in our society. All in the meanwhile, we're not doing enough to do our roads. So I'm here obviously in support of tolls. I'll be down testifying today. You can find my testimony. I'll probably have that up on my Facebook a little bit later. Again, make sure you're not just against tolls just to be against them. Don't be the pitchfork and come in here with the torches. This is an issue that is very complicated, and it's going to take a lot of thought, and that's why the study's been done. And I can assure you, this isn't going to fix all of our problems, because I'm going to hear that, well, they said lottery and all these other things are going to fix our problems. It's not going to fix all of our problems, but I do think it's going to fix our infrastructure problem, which to me is the biggest problem we have in our state. So thank you for listening to this, and you'll see me soon again, and hopefully you get a chance to look at my footage from testifying today. Have a good day.